What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Gamerz Theory Podcast. This is Theory Unlocked, and of course, I'm Drew. Joining alongside me, as always, is Michael. Dude, been a busy season already. We're just launching into September. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, as you said, yeah, it's a busy season. We're about to get even busier with all these games coming out. And I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, Drew. I know we got a big topic today, but
Yeah.
you and I didn't get to talk about it. You were busy doing what we're gonna talk about on the show. So, what are your thoughts from Gamescom opening night live? You and I didn't get a chance. We usually do it. We stream it live. We talk about it. We were in separate places. So, what were your thoughts on opening night live? I gotta ask you.
Okay, so I'm not done watching it all. I'm going back and I'm catching up. But the first reveal from Hoyoverse was a big surprise. That game kind of, I was like, what is this? And then I saw Hoyoverse. I was like, you gotta be kidding. Oh, you guys are you're taking a different direction here. So I was really impressed with that. And you know what else? So I got to this point as well within the showcase. Gears E-Day looks good. I'm pretty pumped for that. Yeah, I'm really stoked to go right from the beginning to see how it all started and where it began and how does that end and then continue on, as you and I often discuss on the podcast, right? Is where do they go from here? So yeah, that's kind of, I think, roughly where I started. There's a lot of stuff before the showcase as well, right? There's a ton of announcements before that, which I always appreciate them taking the time to do, and then they get into the main show. So far, I'm pretty impressed. We got into some things. I'm like, skip. This is the joys about watching it later, right? So you just fast forward. Sometimes you and I just sit and go, all right, is that over yet? Right? Where are we done? Because I don't care for this particular game. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Do my email though, it's been blasted with a ton of stuff. So I have seen a lot of things come through. I'm pretty excited. Rainbow Six Tactics. I was like, yes. Ooh. So we heard rumblings of this a long time ago, and here we are. It is official now, which makes me very excited to see and get hands on and dive in. I'm such a Rainbow Six guy, as you know, you're well aware. Like playing it still. If we were gonna get into the topic today of what we're playing, it's always on my list. Even though, dude, I crashed early yesterday because yes, I was away at a Wolverine event. But we'll get to that in a minute. What did you think of Gamescom opening night live, Michael?
I thought it was good. I'll be honest. You know, I didn't think there was many of those. You know, I was watching it live. You know, keep up to date. You know, and I didn't think there was many of those like sleeper games that we usually have to sit through. I think I put it in my review that's up on the website. Jeff needed a win, right? It's been a bad couple of shows for Jeff, right? Summer Games Fest was a technical disaster. I think the Game Awards from last year are going to go down with his basically defense of high guard.
Yeah.
Well, we saw how I thought this was a really good show. I thought Jeff needed a win, and I thought that's exactly what they got from this show. I even agree with you, right? I thought Notice Falls. I was like, Hoyoverse, I don't play gacha games, and I was like, wait a minute, okay, gotcha. Like, I thought that was a good opener, and then when you get to the ending, I'm sure you already know what the ending is from your emails, but yes, it was finally a good ending. I feel like you and I talk all the time for their shows. I'm like, that was your ending? Like, really? That's what you decided to end on? And I thought The Witcher and everything they announced with it was fantastic. So I'm very excited. We've been busy though, right? I've been playing Modern Warfare 4 closed beta. I'm going to play the open beta this weekend. I'll give you guys my thoughts on Warzone as well. They did a lot of changes. So I don't even, half the stuff I wrote, if you read my review, has already been changed, by the way. The TTK, they've already gone out and nerfed everything. Yeah. So they are actually taking the beta and a lot of the feedback. So I almost have to rewrite that article. So I'll play the open beta and then I'll get my thoughts again and we'll see if they change it again. I know you got your review up for Plague's Tale, which we got a little teaser for the next one as well. I was hoping you were there because I saw that. I was like, what is this? I saw Plague Tale. I was like, damn, I bet you Drew is going to love that reveal right there.
So I haven't got that far yet, but a Plague's Tale. So Residence Plague Tale Legacy is the latest game. This is, it's supposed to be the 3-part of the trilogy, but it's actually the prequel to the first 2. Like it is, but either way, my review is up. I absolutely loved the game. I thought is probably, besides the change of A Plague Tale 1 and 2, they're so heavily focused on stealth, where Legacy is not. Legacy is an action combat adventure with next to no stealth. But the puzzles and the story and the island and what's lurking from the shadows is magnificent. And the audio itself, Michael, is probably one of the best I've ever experienced in a game. Freaking awesome. well worth it. Highly recommend. But for more details on that, head over to thegamerstheory.com, or you can check out our Substack as well, thegamerstheory.substack.com, for all the details there. And you'll get Michael's Call of Duty beta, which sounds like it's outdated now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to them. Shout out to Activision for actually putting in the work, right? Like I did mine. I watched a couple of YouTubers that I follow. We were all on the same page, and then I published it on Tuesday. They're like, here are all the patch notes. I was like, hey, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate that. But the reason we couldn't stream Gamescom opening night live together, Drew, is because you were down playing 2 hours of the upcoming Insomniac title, Marvel's Wolverine, and we need to hear all about it. We've got some questions from our fans we're going to get to, but first, I just want to let you have the floor and tell us what you can say about the 2-hour event, everything you saw, and your overall feelings now that you've got hands on.
Okay, so here's the thing. We got down there and I talked to 2 developers. They had the senior art director and the senior animation director. So the Brian and Gavin were there. We might have more to say about them later. But I got to talk to them a bit, discuss the game, discuss the development. They opened up with a small intro of Marvel's Wolverine and what their focus of the game is all about. There was only 6 of us in this event. So it was a very small event, but there's several, I think there's about 3 events throughout the day, 3 time zones, and I got the first one. So in total, there's like 18 people who got to go check it out here, which was awesome. It was nice, intimate. There's 6 stations set up. So if you've never been to a preview event, basically you walk in, you get introduced. We have to sign, say that we're there, got some snacks and a coffee, and then, met the developers, talked to them for a few minutes, because they're on a time crunch too, because they're busy, right? And then they're lining up for the next session. So they gave us a quick rundown of Wolverine and their experience and their development process and what the focus is when it comes to you being Wolverine. And then from there, they took us into this back room, 6 stations set up with a PS5 Pro is what I played on. Yeah. And then from there, I plugged away at just shy of 2 hours worth of playing by the time I wrapped up and then took off and immediately got home to write my article and then post it. So it's been busy last couple of days. I kind of mentioned to my PlayStation guy, I'm like, dude, of all days, why today? What are you doing to me, man? I got 1,000 things to cover. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to be down there. Thanks to our friends over at PlayStation for hooking us up. Always appreciate them supporting us. They support us really well, so can never complain about them whatsoever. But yeah, Wolverine. I started with the very beginning of the game. There's an intro. It kind of gets you used to the controls. So there's a tutorial. And then they fast forward, once I kind of get my bearings, they fast forward to the end of the first chapter, the first level. Wrap that story beat up. No spoilers, even though I got spoiled on how that goes. So there's that part. And then from there, they jump us a little bit further into the game where we have new abilities, new powers, and things to experience. And then after that, we get a little bit further into the game and things where I ventured off into Tokyo. So they take us all the way across the globe from like Vancouver in Canada to Tokyo to other places. And how Logan feels as Wolverine is definitely the highlight, right? There is no holding back from Insomniac games. We've seen the trailers. That is how it is within the game. They are not shy of cutting off a limb, shredding through people, anything of the sorts, and the mature tone is there as well. Basically, it's this fight for control. There's one particular, they're called Trasks, that are after mutants. They're trying to capture them and basically wipe them out, is what's going on. And then Team X, as many will know, is Mystique, Sabretooth, and then Logan with Wolverine team up, and then they head out to defend the mutants and kind of hopefully try to save the world in the grand scheme of things. So over the course of this 2-hour time frame, I also got into a big Sentinel prototype boss fight, which was pretty cool too. But it is very much in the vein of a Insomniac feel, which you can, I think most people enjoy, which I know I do. Like, that's definitely my home. If you've played Spider-Man, you get a sense of what you're in for, but at the M rating, which is just something that they just don't really do before. So, nice little fresh touch to where they're taking Wolverine.
Well, we've got some questions for our fans here that they want to know. We'll see what you can tell us, Drew. So we'll start. They say, I understand the need for the suit regeneration. Is it at all distracting to the gameplay?
So it was funny. So you literally shred through people, and you're plastered in blood. But within minutes later, you're like, I'm all clean. It's like he took a bath and jumped back, jumped back out, right? So it definitely goes away. But there's parts too as you're fighting, like your suit will just kind of shred away, and that stays. That doesn't come back to full regen.
Okay.
Just he heals, and all the blood disappears, which is kind of odd. But at one point, like I was fighting that big sentinel, and like half of his mask is ripped off. I was like, man, that's cool. So he's got the one big ear kind of like part come off his, and then he's got like half his mask is just gone. But it was so cool too, because all of a sudden his face is like just ripped apart in this one moment, because then you build up what they call rage. After you get to a certain level, you build up your meter, and then you can perform rage, and it's just like last fight standing in certain situations, because that way Logan can die technically in the game, but it gives you one more chance to battle your way back. But all of a sudden you see all the metal come back in, and then his skin comes back over top. It was awesome to watch that animation. It was so smooth too, so smooth. But yeah, it's cool to see the deformation of the suit, but it was really just what I really picked up on was the fact that the blood just vanished.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we're going to get a lot of comparisons to Marvel Spider-Man, right? I mean, that
of course
kind of put Insomniac on the map. So, next question is, does the combat feel fluid like it does in the Spider-Man games?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things when it comes to the combat, and I was happy to see stealth was introduced in the combat as well. That's the other highlight for me. I'm a big stealth guy, as many of you may or may not know. So if I can go around picking people off, that's what I do. I play the Panther role in most of my games. I'll walk in, take you all out, and then eventually just walk out the front door like I was never there with a bunch of dead bodies kicking around. So when it comes to Wolverine, though, it's fast-paced, and it's really on point. And then you upgrade Wolverine, too, at other portions of the game. As you build up your experience, you're able to grab new maneuvers. So there's like a tornado spin. So it functions that you hold down L2 and then you use face buttons, right? The sacred symbols, they call them. The triangle, square, X, and circle. So when you hit those and you map these certain abilities, you can then pull off as you've built up part of your one little meter in the corner. As that regenerates, you're then able to pull off. And I pulled off that spinning tornado. And then by the time I wrapped up, I had this flying knee kick too that would go. But there's other maneuvers. Like I saw one where he leaped up and then he come back down right through him. Ooh. But you're like, I wouldn't say Batman at Arkham-esque, but almost in that sense of how quickly you're able to like keep the combo going in a sense. So yeah, it was never a dull moment by any means, and it didn't feel clunky or out of place. Everything just ran the way you think it would. It is a little, I don't want to say jarring, but there, like, you leap and then you just stab right through a guy. I was like, oh man, it's pretty wild. What my biggest complaint though, Michael, is the screen shake. Man, there was to the point where, and we're all set up in these stations, right? So we're pretty close to the TV. I had to back up. I was like, I'm too close. It's just vibrating. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, I'm gonna have to go in and fine tune in the settings to tone that down, because that part was the only portion where I was like, this is a little jarring for me. But yeah, as far as the combat goes, dude, butter smooth. Parrying was on point too. You can parry, then go in, and then as you build up certain things, you can see this gold highlight as the enemy starts to attack you. As he came down, you perform this parry, and the perfect parry all of a sudden goes into a kill animation that he just shreds right through him. The guy's arm is missing, or the team's up too. So that's the other side of you when we're talking about combos. Or, hey, yo, what's up there, James? How are you, buddy? Thanks for joining, man. So as we're working together between Team X, so Sabretooth is with me as we're starting to take out some of these guys, and they team up and combo together with Wolverine. Ooh. So I'm like slashing, and all of a sudden he comes in and he grabs one guy and pops his head off, or he grabs the guy and he throws it, and I continue on the combo. Like, it was intense, and it was just go, go, go at moments. It was really, really cool. The combat is awesome.
Right, you talk about Drew. He got 2 hours, nearly 2 hours, hands-on of Insomniac's upcoming Marvel Wolverine. We're asking him all the questions from the fans, and I'll have a couple at the end. You talked about the team-up, so I'll ask this. kind of goes hand in hand. Maybe you didn't get to experience it. Maybe they leaked at it. But do you get the chance to play as any other characters besides Logan? Somebody asked. They even admit it's kind of silly to ask for a game called Wolverine, but they are curious because you mentioned the team ups and how Team X is there. So did that play in at all, or maybe something that they're saving for outside what you get to play?
So I didn't witness anything, but from my understanding, it is just Wolverine we're playing as. It is his story. It's almost like an origin story in a sense, but he basically wakes up, still doesn't remember what happened in the past, and now things are happening between the struggle of control between the humans and the mutants and that sort of battle. So, but yeah, as far as I know, it is just Wolverine that we're playing.
So you mentioned obviously the Team X, but somebody wants to know, you don't have to give names or spoil it if you don't want to, but are there any other Marvel characters in the game that maybe you saw? Not X-Men, but maybe Marvel's Avengers-style characters. Because this is Marvel's Wolverine, after all.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say any other Avengers. Nobody else was around. It was those that we've seen previously. I didn't see anybody outside, except for some other mutants that you're trying to save along the way. And as I said, they started us in the very beginning and then quickly bounces to the end of the first level. So though I didn't get to experience that portion of the end of the level, I know what happened. So we were introduced to a couple mutants, but it's also right there in the trailer too. You see Wolverine go into the trailer, right, and pull these guys out and that kind of stuff. So there are, I'm just trying to think of who else I see, right? Like, so Jean Grey was there, Tiger was there, but everybody you would expect to be within the Logan universe. But we're not going to have Spider-Man show up. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, there might be a crossover. From what I understand and talking to Brian and Gavin is that this is Logan's story. They didn't mention anything outside of that. They wanted to focus on them, right? It's not even an X-Men story. It is Logan. And that is the story that they focused on this time. I don't know what the future holds as far as maybe more in a crossover, right? But for now, it's Team X and Wolverine.
I know you're a big voice acting guy, so this is right up your alley. I know a lot of games you talk about whether you dislike the voice acting. Somebody wanted to know, does the voice acting for Logan fit with what we have in our brains if you've maybe watched some of the Logan, movie or TV content? Does it fit or is it different? How does it kind of all settle in?
So Liam McIntyre is the voice of Wolverine. So if you have watched the Wolverine and Logan movies, you all know it's Hugh Jackman, and there's definitely a distinctive difference between the two. But I would quickly, as I progress along, there's a gruff flavor I'll say to his tone, and like even the intro a little bit. So when Wolverine and Sabretooth, they're kind of like bickering at each other, and the way it goes is that Wolverine like bails out of the helicopter, and he's got this smart ass tone. I wouldn't say like sarcastic as far as Spider-Man goes, but he's got a different tone and grumble to him that I think your people will easily adapt to as they warm up to him in the game. I know it took me, by the time I got through my 2 hours, I was like, okay, that's cool. I can handle the new Wolverine experience. But even that tone, like as he's bickering with Sabretooth and Sabretooth's giving him a hard time, Wolverine just bails out of the helicopter. It just puts up a blade on each hand. And that was it. And he just kind of chuckled and then bailed. So it was funny moments like that. But yeah, his tone, even when he talked to like Jean Grey and other characters like this and that, I was like, yeah, it's not Hugh who we're so used to. It's just because we've had the X-Men movies for so long with one character, to not have him then play here. Like he's even in the Deadpool movies, right? So, but this will work eventually and warm up on people, I think. It did for me.
I'll ask my own kind of follow-up on that. Would you say it's going to be close to what we kind of got with the Indiana Jones games, right? Where we're so used to Harrison Ford and now it's a new actor. Are you going to say it's in that, or is it a little different, you think?
No, I think it's a little different. So there are moments even in Indiana Jones where Troy Baker sounds like Harrison Ford. I was like, "Ooh, man, that's really close." Like, right? Like there were moments I was like, "Damn." Like he's really pulling in his Harrison on him. So that was so close that I didn't really think a lot of people perhaps even noticed. For those who haven't followed around, who is the voice actor, right? Yeah. Troy Baker, once again, is Essex in the game. So he's one of the guys. He's the guy who kind of groups the team together, sort of thing. And so he's Troy Baker, legendary voice actor, now makes it a return to Wolverine. But when it comes to Wolverine himself, Yeah, I think he's got his own tone and his own flavor at the end of the day.
Does the game, from what you got to see, does it play towards Logan's sort of softer side that we sometimes get to see, or was it still kind of like the gruff, like anti-hero almost?
No, he's an anti-hero through and through. Like I mentioned in my previews that he would rather be alone, left in solitude kind of deal. And I feel very much in that vein here. He makes a return with the game for some particular reasons that I won't spoil. But that is, yeah, no, he's very much the Wolverine that we know, who would rather just do his own thing, be left alone, call his own shots, and yeah, and not kind of play nice with others more or less. But there are moments of softer, tender side of Logan, but that's when he's out of the Wolverine and more as the Logan character that we'll start to see that kind of side grow. He's always had this relationship with Jean Grey that was evident within the game as well, so I'm curious to see how that relationship builds and moves forward within the game, because when they jumped us so far forward within the game over into Tokyo is when I got to finally see and meet Jean Grey within the game. Her tone was different because of the events that happened that I missed. So I was like, okay, there's something I'm missing here. I was able to figure out what happened just because they kind of caught us up. Okay, so what's happened now is this, and this. But because it's a short demo, we want to put you here so you can experience this, and this. So that's kind of how that was. I'm like, oh, crap. So when I get to go hands-on with the full game, then I'll be able to have a better understanding of that dynamic and how that builds up as well. So, yeah.
And then, how do they sort of work? I mean, it always feels like whenever I watch Logan, right, he's almost like this last resort, like, all right, I got to go in, I got to kill everybody, like, it's me or the world ends or whatever.
Right.
How do they manage to motivate that sort of style in the game of you're the last resort, and if you fail, which obviously you kind of said you can fail and you get a restart, but if you fail, everything goes to shit.
So it was funny how you mentioned like he's the last resort, because within the game I felt like he's the first one in. He's the one that charged in. So you team it up with Mystique and Sabretooth. They're off doing their own thing, but he's out there ahead of them to take out certain... He's more or less there to clear the path, right? So you can go in, like I said, doing these stealth things. So there is a situation like in the jungle sort of area where the tall grass, just the usual tall grass, you can duck in between. They'll never see me down here, right? So you get in there,
but completely blind.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going
exactly.
on down there.
Yeah, Sebastian, how are you, man? So we get in there and we duck down into the grass, and then there's one of the, what they call them, the reavers, so the Trask's brute force on their side trying to overtake us more or less. They're leaning up against a tree, but as I pop up, like I spring up and just stick all three blades through them and then pull them back, and then from there I just go around and pick off people. But then it reaches a point where like I don't have the grass surrounding me to keep me in the shadows, so I just leap out and clean house. And then that's when all of a sudden you see Sabretooth jump in, and that's when he's picking up guys, and I'm leaping onto that guy and I'm slashing him up. He goes into such a like rage fit, dude. It's just like pound it, but all blades are out, right? Like it's just it just goes and keeps going, and then there's just blood everywhere. Yeah, M-rated, but yeah, it is. Logan is not as a second resort; he's the first one in situation.
Just joined us. Drew got 2 hours hands-on to Insomniac's upcoming Marvel's Wolverine, so ask him all about it. If you guys want to ask him something in the chat, feel free, and he'll answer it if he's allowed to. But one of the things that Marvel Spider-Man kind of really got popular for is the costume changes, right? Especially like a new movie comes out, you can get that costume. Any sort of hint to that being in Marvel Wolverine, where there's going to be different cosmetics and different costumes, or is it you're going to be in the standard Wolverine suit from start to finish?
No, not at all. Wolverine will be your Wolverine.
Nice.
So what I was able to decipher and see, I was able to select. So as I said, as they put us further into the demo, I was able to select from, I think it might have been 8 costumes.
Ooh. Okay.
But that was just, so I'll explain how that works in a second. But in total, it appeared to be about 27 outfits ready at launch. And then to go along with the outfits are variations of your claws as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was expecting, because it is Insomniac and everybody knows him so well, to do so many outfits for Spider-Man, right? Between Miles and Peter Parker. that there's just endless opportunities, and they even launched some new ones just not that long ago. So they just keep updating with more and more costumes. Well, so they've got a bunch here when it comes to Wolverine. Many we've already seen, a lot you have not. There's a couple there's like, ooh, I don't know about that one. But how you get these is that you find crates out in the world. So they have a ton of collectibles, whiskey bottles. I'm like, man, I like whiskey. I can roll with this. So they're out there and you're finding all these things, which is funny enough because I did not find a single crate while I was out there. I don't know if it's just not there for our demo, and it will be upon the full release. So they said we're playing, I think the build we played was about a month old. So they've already iterated on it, right? And updated it and stuff like that. So maybe those aren't in place yet, but they should be pretty close, I would think. So the way you find these crates and then you gather up materials, and then that allows you to craft these outfits and these claws. So the claws I saw too were some pretty cool ones. They had the bone one, almost like a Baraka from Mortal Kombat looking kind of thing. They had one was all like razor blades and some gold shiny ones. Yeah, they had some pretty cool stuff. I'm interested to see how everybody pairs their Wolverine up, because you can walk around with his new suit, his classic suit, his like bar setup that you saw the demo when they first revealed Wolverine. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun to go and hunt those down to then see what outfits you piece together.
One of the big things that made Marvel Spider-Man so popular, of course, Drew, was the open world, right? You kind of just gotta feel like you were Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the sort of a hint that there's going to be open world in Wolverine, or is it going to be more like, do this level, go to the next place, do this level, go to the next place?
No, it is definitely a linear story of from point A to point B with variations of opportunities to explore, I would say, but not very much. I wouldn't even, so when Tomb Raider first got the reboot, they had open level design. I wouldn't even say it's that. I'd say it's much more linear focused, kind of similar to almost like a Uncharted experience in those gameplay moments where you can go down from point A to point B, but you have very little pathways to move around in other forms to go search for stuff. But they got to hide these things somewhere, right? So I'm hoping they have a little bit more. But from what I had the 2 hours with, it was very, very linear focused.
How was the difficulty? Was it just mash all your buttons and you feel invincible? Was it you actually maybe have to kind of put some thought into how you play? Like what was the difficulty like for you? And I guess, did you get a pick or was it a preset difficulty?
No, it was already preset for me. I didn't even look at the settings as far as I was aware. I don't know if I could have gone in and maybe made it easier. I think I may have been able to. I just kept it normal. Most of the games I've tried to play it normal. I know I was talking to one guy there, and he often drops it to story just so you can play the game and learn the story and then move on. Nothing wrong with that. I've done that in the past as well. And sometimes there's a reason why I complain about the Souls-like, because I don't have hours to bash my head into a wall, right? So there are moments I'm like, I got to drop this down just because I got a review to do and I need to finish this and then move on. But here it was, I believe, set for normal. And yeah, it was pretty on point. Like I was comfortable. There were moments I was like, oh man, I'm about to die here. And then I was able to slash around enough. You can definitely button mash, but if you learn the maneuvers that are coming in, so as I was progressing through, I hit square 3 times, and then you have an ender move as well. So you have this more almost like a finishing move, and you can get into that by hitting triangle, and then you parry, and then that could lead into one thing. So they have different setups for you to bounce around between your moment of arena battle in a sense. So I didn't find it too challenging, but enough where I felt like I'm making progress without bashing my head to a wall.
Okay, that's a good balance.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not, but I gotta add. Before you went, you and I were in the same boat, right? We'd seen the trailers. We've written about them. We've watched them a lot.
Yeah.
Was there anything once you were able to sit down and get hands on the game that surprised you or shocked you, or maybe you went, "Wow, I didn't expect this" from what I had seen in the first gameplay trailer or anything else leading up to it? Or was it kind of like, I saw the trailer and this is what I expected and this is what I'm getting?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more than what I expected going in. Like I expected a M rating, but I wasn't sure how far they were going to push it. So there are moments, and even when Wolverine is hacking and slashing his way through and some of the cutscenes they were pulling off, I was like, wow, you guys really went that extra mile, right? Like they're swearing throughout the game. Like even Mystique is telling people what to do, and like there's definitely a level of maturity here that we're just not used to in the world of Spider-Man. So I like that they didn't ease up when we're playing as Wolverine. It was, here's what you're getting into. This is why we have the M rating. And yeah, it was, there were moments I was like, wow, that was pretty gory. Yeah, I was like, we're not playing Mortal Kombat, but it's pretty close. Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man, obviously massive shoes to fill, I would assume, from Insomniac, right? For this. Do you think they can fill, like, if somebody's played the Spider-Mans, they have an expectation.
Yeah.
Do you think Marvel's Wolverine is going to meet those expectations of people who are just like, I played Spider-Man and this is kind of what I'm expecting when I hop into Wolverine? Or do you think it's going to maybe take sort of a shift of your view of the game to kind of maybe appreciate it?
So I don't think they'll achieve the same success they had with Spider-Man. I think the game is going to be great. But I platinum Spider-Man 2. I don't know if I'm going to platinum this one.
Fair.
Right? I think I will complete the game, have a great time, and I think a lot of other people will as well. But I don't know about that level of success when it comes to this. So we will see. Time will tell.
I think that's fair, just because Spider-Man, I mean, there's a new Spider-Man movie, like, what, every 2 years, right? When's the last time we had a Wolverine movie?
Well, he was in
a while.
Yeah,
he was in Deadpool, right? But that was more of
that
like
Deadpool's.
Oh, yeah, it kind of counts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying, right? Where it's just, he's not as, much of a cultural icon, I think, for especially the younger generation.
Yeah. No, I'm curious to see where it lands for everybody, right? I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Walked away very hyped for the game, had a great time playing, but when it all lines up and finishes off, I'm wondering where it stands. I don't want to say I have an idea of my score already because I only played 2 hours, but I've got a vision, I think, of where it's going to land overall. Like a Metacritic score kind of idea, I think, after getting hands on.
I'll ask you this without making you give too much away.
Yeah.
Do you think, from what you played, it would be a Game of the Year nominee contender?
I think it's
not even a nominee, it's just a contender for one of those nominees.
I think it'll be a contender. I think it'll definitely be there, right? It's the Insomniac polish that many expect to get from a game. I'm curious to see if it can pull off the 10s to be the Game of the Year winner, really, is where I'm at. I don't know if it's going to be able to do that. There's just a different sense of Spider-Man is so well known by everybody, right? So
yeah, exactly.
When the latest movie comes out, everybody jumps back into Spider-Man, and those who didn't went and bought it. So that just skyrocketed the number of the players even further. Will that happen to Wolverine? Probably not. I really don't think it will. I think it has potential to pull in a bigger audience, but I don't know if it'll end up at the Game of the Year conversation by the time next year wraps up, or this year wraps up, just because of everything else that's out. Again, we've also talked about the fact that GTA 6 is coming out, but that's not going to be in the Game of the Year conversation because it just can't be. So
yeah,
we'll see. Like, you're going to think about what it's up against. You got 007 First Light, right?
Crimson Desert
for sure. At this moment, I would probably put Residence of Plague's Tale Legacy in that conversation as well. From my review,
Resident Evil Requiem's probably in there.
Right? Yeah. So when you take a look at Sony's always got something that's in there. Yeah. And Wolverine has the presence to be there because it is a PlayStation title. So that gives them an opportunity and well enough ahead of the awards nominees to be in the conversation as well. But man, will it be able to outshine? It's going to be an interesting list this year because it's going to be in the conversation of, can we fit that in too? I think is where it lands, right? So I think it'll definitely be warranted, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't either.
Did you get the hint, or maybe you can't say, that there's going to be any kind of post-launch support or? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, because that's the one thing where I'm thinking, like, okay, I play the game.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like with Spider-Man, right? Like, a movie comes out, I don't know, I'll hop back in. I'm very curious to see, I guess, just your personal opinion. Do you think it's going to be one of those games where it comes out, people play it, they put it down and then it just kind of goes away. Maybe it goes on sale and people hop in because they heard about it, or do you think Insomniac's going to find ways to keep it relevant? Again, this is all your personal opinion, but do you think they're going to find ways to keep it relevant for 6 months or whatever, like they kind of do with Spider-Man, where they put some new stuff in every once in a while?
Yeah, I can't see them like there. We might get some DLC, but I don't see it being like. So when Spider-Man 1 dropped, it was DLC drop afterwards, right? I don't see that level whatsoever, because often, from what I think many of us do, we hardly ever go back to the game to then finally get into the DLC. Very rarely do I ever go back, even though I just did pick up the Mafia Man of Honor DLC. I did get that because I'm like, I love that game so much that I want to go back into that world and experience a bit more. I've yet to play it though, but Wolverine could, like, what else does Sony have? That's the other side of it too. So when you take a look at like post content, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna give us new outfits? Okay, but if I've already completed the game, man, I don't want to go do it again.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you're probably looking like a complete edition, right? Like we got with Ghost of Yote, right, or whatever they're gonna call it, right?
Which is exciting to see as well. So there's opportunity to come back around, but when they take a look at long term, do you want to even bother wasting the resources and the financial situation that they're in? Because GTA 6 drops this year, and then once Wolverine is out, everybody finishes it. No one gives a shit afterwards, right? Because GTA 6 will be here. That's the other... Yeah. Like, when you're talking business, I don't think it's a smart move to keep Wolverine going. Take it while you can. Get in there early. Unless you give us DLC a month later, then... Because it's not going to... Like, we're going to be in probably, I would say... maybe 20 hours of story content, 25 tops. So
okay, yeah, that's gonna be my next question. How long you kind of maybe thought the story was gonna be?
That's kind of where I'm thinking. That's a pure guess on my side. Like, I could be completely wrong. Yeah. It could be a 12-hour experience, or it could be a 40-hour experience. I don't see them dragging out the story to be 40 hours, but I'm thinking like no longer than 20. I would say at this point. So then there is opportunity, because Marvel's a huge world to play. Like, I mean, that's a playground for you to be a part of. And and Insomniac does very well in taking these opportunities from the IP to then expand upon them. So do I see them producing post content? Yes. When is the question I don't have to I'm not able to answer, because I really don't know when you would want to line that up. But you can't wait 6 months and then put it out. But again, maybe you can, because as we all know, we're now getting Witcher DLC. So like,
that is true.
That's an 11-year-old game. so who knows? But they're gonna give us more costumes. I'll expect more of that to come along, because they're still updating Spider-Man. So you're gonna get some of that for sure. Whether or not they tie that into, I think they should do some sort of crossover matchup story situation. Don't expect Spider-Man. I don't think that will ever happen. But yeah, never say never either, right? Trust me, I've done that before. Never say never in this industry, Michael. That's one thing I've learned, man. Oh,
that is true.
But
that is true. Well, shout out to the Blood of the Dawnwalker for reviving this debate, right? They, of course, had their preview video. It wasn't 60 FPS. They now have said, okay, we're going to do that. You played on a PS5 Pro. What did it, did it feel like you were kind of at the capacity of the PS5 Pro? Do you feel like it was holding back? I mean, I don't know if you could see if it was 60 FPS or not. Like, what was your experience on a PS5 Pro? Do you think it was making the most of the hardware, or do you think it was maybe almost holding back a little bit?
I don't think Insomniac's going to hold back, right? I think they'll be at the 60 frames per second. I think we're going to give that, because we're in combat that bounces around, and you want that to be as smooth as possible. And the fact that we were on a PS5 Pro and it ran like butter smooth, and they said you might experience a bug. I can't recall experiencing one at all. I was just too busy just bouncing and slashing and shredding through everybody, man. And there's a lot of things on screen happening at once. Sometimes there's probably, I don't know, at least a dozen guys on screen, and not once did they like hiccup or texture pop or like just delay my animation to come in and slash through anybody. It was smooth the entire time. So yeah, no, I think the fidelity is definitely on point.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Drew, because you haven't seen the other two games that I'm going to mention, but I want to see if you can get the prediction right. I would say for us, right? And I say this for us because you and I aren't going to play Silent Hill Townfall, which I think a lot of people are.
Yeah,
I think for us in September, there's 3 massive games, right? There's Blood of the Dawnwalker, there's Marvel Wolverine, and there's Control Resonance.
Okay.
Where do you think those 3 games, let's say, ratings wise or sale wise, where do you think those 3 games rank out? Obviously, you've got hands on with Wolverine. You haven't got hands on with the other, but where do you think those 3 games are going to rank out when it's all said and done, 1 through 3?
So you want me to rank them in order?
Yeah, best to worst, and you can do sales, you could do your personal score, whatever metric you want to go by. But how do you think those 3 games are going to kind of rank out?
So let's play the Metacritic game, shall we? Let's do that.
Yeah, let's play the Metacritic game. Let's do Metacritic.
We'll play who goes the highest. So neither one of us are Silent Hill fans, so that makes it
that's why I left that one out. I left Silent Hill out because I don't think you and I are not going to engage in it. We've got Scott on the team. He loves that kind of stuff. So I'm only picking between the 3 games that I know you and I are actually looking forward to playing.
So Blood of Dawnwalker is an interesting one, right? So there's 2 ways you could play it. One, you could challenge the boss right away, or you could spend 100 hours in that game and the world is your oyster kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right? Where Wolverine is such a tight niche little game that you're gonna play story beat for story beat and then wrap it up and then move on. Where that one has more opportunity to expand, excuse me, open up other areas and side quests and content that will keep you going on for hours. Okay, so let's see. Marvel's Wolverine will come in at a 82.
Okay.
I think will be my critic score for that. I think we could see Blood of the Dawnwalker. What was the other one you said?
Control Resonance.
Oh, right.
The Control
that's
sequel.
a good one. Way to go, Michael. Okay, so I think Control comes in at 85. And Blood of the Dawnwalker at an 80. I would say 84.
Ooh, okay. So you think they're going to be pretty close?
They're all pretty close, right? So I'm almost rethinking my Wolverine. I'm almost right. It was so smooth. I just don't know how well it's going to land with some people. But as far as reviewers and media goes, like us, it was funny because I walked. Okay, so here's I walked out of the preview event, and as I'm walking away, I'm thinking to myself about the game, and I get home and I'm talking to some people, and I'm talking to my wife. And she goes, well, I said, it was good. And I'm thinking about the score, ultimately, where I'll see it wrap up. Obviously, 2 hours, hard to put a score on anything after 2 hours. But if I could predict it, I said it'd be about an 8 to an 8.5. Because we rate on the 10-point scale. So, I would, you know what, I'm going to stick with it. 82. 82 for Wolverine. 84 for the Blood of Dawnwalker. And then Control Resonant, we'll get an 85.
Okay.
What do you? Right. What do you predict? What's your prediction? You can't be left out of this game, man.
That's true. I think Control, because I think, as you said, Wolverine's niche, but I think more people are gonna play Wolverine than Control. I think Control is one of those, like, if you played the first one, you'd love it. If you didn't play it, unless you knew, like, I didn't play the first one, but I have a buddy who is obsessed with the second one, and he knows something in this industry. He's like, hey, you hear anything about Control? You hear anything about Control? And so I've kind of like looked at it more. I'm like, okay, this game looks pretty cool. I think Control's actually going to score a little bit better because it's so niche. I'm going to say Control's going to be like an 87.
Okay.
I think the nicheness is going to kind of like, people are going to be like, damn, this game's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Blood of the Dawnwalker, I'm going to be honest. I'm scared about this game. I wrote a Theory Unlocked last week on our Substack. If you're subscribed, you have to take a look at it. And it was my biggest red flags in gaming. And one of them was created by director of X. And that is what I have. That's what Blood of the Dawnwalker has. It's made by the people who made Witcher. It's the Witcher game. And I'm like, if I had a nickel for every time a game was hyped up, I wouldn't be working anymore, Drew, because they almost always fall flat. So I'm going to say Blood of the Dawnwalker is at an 80. I really think it's gotten a little bit too much hype. I think they're going to put something good out. I think Rebel Wolves is definitely going to do something high quality. I think it's going to die to the hype machine. And then I would put Marvel Wolverine, I think maybe a little higher than you, 83. I think you're right. Okay. I think it's going to be one of those where, especially if what you're telling me, where the M rating is embraced, I think that is going to drive some people away, right? Where it's just like, whoa, this is like you know, you and I are cool with it, but there are some
Yep,
times, and I
yep.
feel like maybe even you got it, where it's like, damn, like, all right, like, we get it, man, we get it. Like, you could take a little bit of a step back. So I think that's going to scare people away. But yeah, I'm with you. Control's going to be the highest, but I think Blood of the Dawnwalker is going to suffer a little bit. I think the hype machine is going to, unfortunately, swallow up Rebel Wolves' game just because it's going to be
Sure.
unrealistic expectations for that game.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where it lands, right? So I've been
Yeah.
told we're getting a code. I just don't know how soon we'll be getting that code. It sounds like it's going to be closer to launch, so our review will probably come in a little bit later, unfortunately. But, so my fear when I went down to the event for Wolverine and was playing the game is that the animations become repetitive after kill animation
That's
after
fair.
kill animation. That was just one of my concerns walking away from the event, right? I can kill a guy, which is awesome, and I'm tearing off limbs, but how many times do you want to see that same thing and same one again, right? And it does have different variants because you have, so they have mutant adaptations, they're called. So you get this like almost like a blood DNA strand, and within it you pick 4 little what I called like perks. So they help kind of help boost up other abilities. So when it comes to your rage meter, I had one that I went with. I was able to, so this is when they bumped us further in the demo. So you finally got this mutant adaptation, and it focused on stealth. So when I focused on a stealth kill, it actually built my rage meter more. So I was like, okay, nice little perk to kind of get that going. But you can only select 4, but there's a whole like plethora of them to choose from, which I thought was really cool. So there's that. Then you have techniques, and then you have your super techniques, which is like your ultimate, your abilities. So yeah, they're just ways to unlock Wolverine's future moveset in a sense between these techniques, special techniques, and then the mutant attributes, which was pretty cool. I'm glad they didn't stick. Okay, there's Wolverine, go, right? Because like when you play Spider-Man, dude, it's gonna be such a reference back and forth between the two because they're both from the same company, right? Same studio. So when you get in there, you already knew from playing Spider-Man that there's so many different ways he could upgrade his arsenal, his things. But when it comes to Wolverine, he doesn't have gadgets. He's got claws, and that is it, right?
Yeah.
So they gave us something to kind of go chase a little bit by upgrading to new movesets, which then you can map to your face buttons and then get into some other of these adaptations. So that was really cool. But again, my biggest fear walking away was how many times can I kill the guy the same way before I get bored of it? Yeah.
That's fair. Is there anything else? Anything else from the event that we didn't get into the fan questions didn't hit on that you wanna talk about?
I don't think so. I don't think so, right? Because I don't want to get in spoiler territory. We were asked not to talk about certain things.
Fair.
So all in all, though, like I walked away, I had a good time. I'm pumped, obviously for Wolverine. There's a lot to take in still, but through 2 hours, it's just a slice of what's to come. So I want to see the full adaptation when it does release on September 15th, which isn't all that far away now at this point, as like the end of August now, right? So yeah, it's coming up quickly. It's only a matter of weeks, and then we'll have the game, and then we'll have our full review up on that coming out as well. But yeah, I'd be pretty pumped for everybody to check it out. It's going to be, I think, a very good game when it comes to its release. So I said 82 is one of my predictions is going to be placing at right now. But as far as Game of the Year conversation, is going to be interesting. Now, I need to play the full thing to understand where that lies completely. And that conversation, which we will get into as well as the Game Awards, are just around the corner, Michael. Oh my god.
It's so close, man. And as you said, I think this year's gonna be, I mean, obviously the GTA, looming aside, I think the rest of the games are gonna be really fun to kind of like, I mean, we just talked about Blood of the Dawnwalker, Control potentially, we've got Gears of War.
Do you think Gears of War even makes the Game of the Year conversation?
I think it has a chance. I really think it has a chance.
Sure.
Especially if it's really good, I think it has a chance from recency bias, right? A lot of times we've seen, like a game like Crimson Desert, perfect example, right? Amazing game, but it came out in February. By the time we have to nominate, think about the Game of the Year, it's like, how did I like that game?
They
like,
just got I don't want to go back edition.
I don't want to go back and replay it. It was hundreds of hours. Like I at the time I played it, it was good. So it's like, I think there's a chance if Gears of War is good, and as you and I both are talking about what we saw from the Gamescom opening night live campaign trailer,
cool.
it looks really, really good. If it can kind of sit in that 85 to 90 Metascore range, I think it actually can kind of maybe, I don't want to say undeservingly, but definitely kind of recency bias its way into a nominee if it is that good. I don't know though. It's Xbox, so I'm always very, very nervous that Xbox is just going to
They're never
muck
in that
it up.
conversation.
Yeah, there's a reason Xbox has never really had a game in that conversation. So
This could be the first, but yeah, I'm curious to see if PlayStation's there with Wolverine as well, right? Marvel's Wolverine, I think, has a chance to be a part of the conversation, but whether or not they actually make and qualify will be at a whole other level. So yeah, we will see come September 15th. When we finally score up the full game. Definitely looking forward to getting into the full version and slashing my way through a bunch of stuff. You know what's funny? I'm already going, man, I can't wait to kill you. And I can't wait to kill you in that game. Like, there's certain people. There's a screenshot of him. Omega Red is one of the main villains in the game. And he's got this big guy. He's got, like, tentacles that come out. Almost like a Doc Ock in a sense, right? But they come out of his arm. And he's like, man... He's Russian. He's like, you look like a brutal guy to fight. Eventually, we will meet, I'm sure, and then we'll get to slash him apart. When do we actually get to kill him? Because the game is so brutal, will I actually cut off his head? We'll have to wait and find out. But until then, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Always a ton of fun being here. We love talking about games, and if you haven't yet, go check out the gamerstheory.com website, or check us out over on Substack, thegamerstheory.substack.com. We're there. We always post several articles. Right now, Gamescom is happening, so there's an endless supply of things to talk about. Hey, Michael?
Yep. Oh, yeah. We're locked and loaded, and then September comes around, and we're going to be locked and loaded with games.
Yeah, we just got another game for review this morning, so yeah, that'll be coming up here shortly as well. Until then, everybody, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week. This has been Theory Unlocked.